Just sounds beautiful, beautiful sounding instrument, beautiful feeling controller. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my home studio. I am Archie Beats and I am here to help. And if you guys are interested in music production tips, vocal production tips, recording tips, all that gear, hey, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you won't miss another video. And today we have an amazing guest on the channel today, an extremely helpful, useful tool. And as you guys can see, the VSTs, the instruments, just sounds amazing. Today we are reviewing the Arturia Keylab 61 Mark II. Let's go. It just sounds so good and the controller just feels great. When it comes to any keyboard, any MIDI controller, it's all about the feel to me. But boys and girls, this is more than just about the feel. This is about the functionality of this MIDI controller keyboard. Swiss Army knife sitting in the middle of your studio. It's more than that. So if you are a beginner and you're probably wondering what the heck is the Arturia Keylab MK2, it is a keyboard and MIDI controller. You basically use it to control your DAW or control the virtual instruments within your DAW, and you use the keys to actually play. Use the drum pads to play as well and program, and you also use them for chords, drums. So if you just take a look at this board overall, it is an ultra responsive keyboard with 61 aftertouch enabled keys. And if you take a look at all the controls on it, you are looking at an advanced interface that actually integrate with your computer and your DAW and your VSTs. And today's video is sponsored by Sweetwater Sound. For those of you who don't know, Sweetwater Sound is the largest music retailer in the United States with over 40,000 pieces of gear to choose from. So if you are a producer, singer, songwriter, audio engineer, synthesizer enthusiast, they have something for you on there. And when you order from sweetwater.com, you actually are assigned a sales engineer. Salesperson plus audio engineer equals sales engineer, and they help you all the way from point A. If you purchasing the product, they send you getting started information, shipping information, and they check on you from time to time. So be sure to check out Sweetwater Sound below. And if you're interested in anything that you've seen in my home studio, be sure to check it out below. I have everything listed down there along with other gear that could possibly help you on your creative journey. It's such a useful tool in so many different ways. I've been playing around with this for over a month, and I've been using it in some of the films that I'm scoring, which it's been very useful. I've been able to pinpoint certain things that I'm unable to do with other controllers, and in some cases, $2,000–$3,000 workstations that I use every day. I'm able to do more with this than those. So let's go over some of the key highlights of this board, and then we're going to take a look at the sections and the different parts and features of the physical features of this actual keyboard controller. It has 61 keys. The keys are semi-weighted with aftertouch. And one of the interesting facts about it, even on some of the most expensive workstations out there, it has an all-metal pitch wheel and all-metal modulation wheel. It has MIDI in and MIDI out with also USB. So if you have any type of synthesizer that you want to control, you can do all of that on board the Arturia Keylab 61. And the cool thing about it, with the included software, you get Analog Lab, which you see the button on the Arturia. You can control and toggle through the instruments, as I stated earlier. That's pretty awesome. And you also get Ableton Lite, Piano V, which are great sounding pianos, and Arturia's MIDI control system. And when it comes to what the compatibility of a computer you have, it is Mac and PC. You can use both, and the minimum is 4 gigs of RAM. So let's go ahead and take a look at the keyboard and go over the overall features that's on board this and what each section does. Okay, and as you guys can see, this gorgeous front panel, we're going to start from the left right here with the Keylab 61 Mark II. This section here is the chord transpose octaves section right here. And you can either go up entire octaves, go down 1 octave, or you can go toggle between semitones. The next section, as you can see down here, is really important to cool musicians. It's the pitch and modulation. This is right here, a pitch wheel where you can do the cool. We don't have a synthesizer up, but you guys get the gist of it, and modulation. And the cool thing about this is, as I stated, in most inexpensive MIDI controllers, keyboard controllers, you don't find this. Even in some of my $2,000 synthesizers, there isn't an all metal. These are all metal wheels, which is gonna stand and last a very long time. And it's going to actually put up with my musician riffs. So I'm happy to see that this is on board this. And the next section is the pad mode buttons. These are specifically for your pads here. You can use these 3 buttons here to select the settings from the user preset, which is on the other side. You guys are going to see that in a few minutes. And you can actually control chord modes and different things like that right here. So you can see pad, memory, chord memory, and chord transpose. And you guys see right here, you have 16 channels. Those 16 of your MIDI channels, you can select that by holding this button down. And these first 16 keys, you can select the channel by pressing the key. Next section is this cool section here, which is extremely important to us drummers, us drum programmers. This is the performance pad section, which they feel really great, as I stated. You know, they got a great feel to it. So when I'm doing my drums, the velocity, these are really great feeling pads. And then as you can see, this section here is the DAW command users right here. For example, you guys see I have Logic right here. These are my track controls. I actually have my next one. This is Pro Tools where I record in, but I do my production and my film scoring in Logic. And you guys see you have the settings on your channel strips: solo, mute, record, read, write. Your automation is right there. Save, replace, auto punch, Metro, undo, is all right there. And then the next section below that is your transport section. Extremely important section. When you get into your DAW, you can rewind, you can press play, you can stop, you can record. It speaks for itself, the transport section. And now we have traveled to the preset front right panel, and we're starting right here. This right here is the preset browser, and this is the display setting right here. This right here that you're looking at, to me overall, it is the master section. It's not called that. This is the preset browser and display section, but this is where you see all the cool stuff and where you can control the instruments, the VST, as far as selection. So let me show you guys how it works. For example, you hear this is... See, that is the Stage 73, Just the Way. We can look at the screen and see the full name, as you guys can see right here. But guess what the cool part is? We can control it right from here. So instantly you see instruments, and then ARP 26B3, that's the organ, clavinet, CMI, CS80, DX7, that's a lot of people's favorite. Emulator 2, a lot of people's favorite. One of my favorites too, the June 6, my favorite. Jupiter 8. Let's just go to a quick piano. So if I select the piano, I just press that button in, and this is American Small, and it's selected. But you guys can see, you get the gist of it. We can keep going, and it's easy. Let's go to the Prophet 5, Fascination. So really cool sounds that we get here. We can do film scoring with this, standard music production, anything you like. And as you guys can see, this is to select your DAW. We use Logic, but whenever you want to select your DAW and start the mapping, you hold down the DAW button, and it's DAW mapping now. And we're just going to hit the button to select it. It's Logic anyway. And this right here, we can toggle through the presets, as you guys saw earlier. Butchla Easel. And right here is where we can do our memory, and user 1 right here, user 3, we can just put our settings, whatever we want to do. Let's end that sound there because it's going to keep going. You guys can see how I sustain. I changed the LFO amount. And that's pan 3. You can go through so much. Let's do the DX7 right here. Select that. You press this button in, and you can like literally toggle through everything you need. That's a piano. We over to emulator voices. so you can just keep going. The possibilities are infinite. This section right here is known as your control buttons, the section of the 3 buttons that's used on an analog lab mode to switch between 1 part and 2 parts, multimedia parts. You can stack instruments, part 1, that's 1 instrument, part 2, or you can toggle previous, next, and then you can go to the bank. It's really cool. And then this next section, cut off your resonance, your LFO amounts. As you guys heard how I was switching between which a butula isla. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We've always called it the butula isla. But you guys saw how I was toggling in between the effects and the rate of the LFO. You can literally go crazy with this. The parameters, parameter 2, parameter 3, pan 8, and all of these right here. These knobs are basically your encoders. So you can do some cool things with that. And then right below that are your faders. For example, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. You can use this to control the volume. These faders are extremely important. I'm a console guy, so I like to have this kind of channel strip style over here. I love when they started introducing this on MIDI controllers. And the next section below that is the filter section, guys. You can do some crazy things with this, and it's also the selection. You guys see the blue buttons and the black buttons. You actually share controls, and you can toggle between the blue and the blacks. And as you guys can see, these are the user parameters. The keys and the up to octave are used for shortcuts. These are used for shortcuts right here. And let's jump on the back panel. And as you guys can see, the section right here, this is the pitch, gate, and modulator output section. These are 4 connectors that allow you to send, control voltage and triggers to module sense. For you guys see all the synthesizers I have, I can now control that. Also the voltage ranges. And then you see we have the MIDI out and MIDI in. You guys see I have the vintage outboards sound modules here. I'm going to be using this a lot to control those. And you guys see we have the auxiliary 1 and 2 and 3 pedal inputs. You can use these with different types of pedals and foot switches, and you can assign them with the MIDI CC number. And as you guys can see, the next section is the expression pedals. And if you are a pianist like myself, you guys know how important expression pedals are, along with in collaboration with your sustain pedal, so which is the next section, and you can actually sustain the instrument by just holding your foot pedal down. And then the CVN, and this is used to route output voltage from a modular synthesizer into the Keylab. And then you have your USB connection, and then your power connector, and then your power switch. And once you understand this thing, you guys can control and make some amazing creative music. Well, I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. The Arturia Keylab 61 Mark II is amazing. As you guys can see, we can toggle, we can control, we can be creative, we can be technical, we can drive this thing all the way down the road if we want to. And these are tools that we want in our studio.